to the Hustle Skirt Podcast, the show that brings you economic equity for everyone, every day, with your hosts, Debra Gould. I am Debra Washington Gould, President and CEO of Debra Gould and Associate Inc. DGAI is a New Orleans-based management consulting and performance management business founded in 1996. So this year I celebrate 27 years in the professional speaking industry. So please check out my website at www.gouldassociates.com, where you can learn more about my professional services offerings in management consulting, training, facilitating, of executive coaching, and business motivational keynotes. www.gouldassociates.com. So let's talk about Hustle Skirt. If you are joining me for the first time, because maybe my guests here, Donna and Kristin Swanson of Swanson Group, is an insurance business, a minority and woman-owned business here based in New Orleans, but their work probably take them worldwide, and you will have an opportunity to hear from my guests in a few minutes. But let me share the mission of the Hustle Skirt podcast is to promote, communicate, and amplify the influence of women entrepreneurs like you see here on this particular podcast today. We are for profit. Did I say for profit, y'all? For profit businesses or a C-suite or higher executive with a corporation, government, or nonprofit. I will surprise you a different kind of guests, just as I just shared. But for right now, be real clear what Hustle Skirt is all about. I come from an abundance mentality. There is enough out here in the universe that we can all share some of the pie. It would be my lack of networking. If I didn't share with the locally, regional, or nationally folks like Donna and Kristin business and keep it all to myself, when they can also find ways in terms of equity for them to expand their business growth and creativity and innovation in the business community. And y'all, I said for profit, more money, and that's what I see economic equity is all about. I don't come from a world of scarcity mentality where it's so easy to withhold information and not share about other people, products, and services. That is not the way Debra Gould and Associate is all about. It's all about empowerment. So today, it is indeed a privilege and honor. I've had a chance to meet the grandmother and the granddaughter, and you will have a chance to hear from Donna, the grandmother, who has successfully passed the baton and continue to grow her successful business, Swanson Group. So let me introduce my guest today. As I stated, Swanson Insurance Agency is Kristin Swanson Scott, CPIA, and CIC. She's going to tell me what those acronyms are about for our listening audience. She is the VP of the operation of the business, Swanson Insurance Agency. They're going to say some more when Debra pause to tell you more on how to contact them. But for now, I'm going to tell you about the website. So as you listen, write it down, Swanson, INS, agency.com. SWANSONINSAGECY.com. Swanson Inc. Insurance.com. So with that being said, here is the little credentials about these phenomenal women today. the grandmother and granddaughter duo of Kristin and Donna have been a force to be reckoned with within the insurance industry. Starting with Donna in 1985, kudos and congratulations to you, Donna, and Kristin joining forces for this legacy to make it work and grow in 2016, pardon me. So again, my guests, I have some couple of questions, but give me an opportunity to say, welcome, Donna. Welcome, Kristin, to the Hustle Skirt podcast today.
Hello. Thank you so much for having us.
All right. Donna, I am loving that black hat.
Yeah.
My purple hat on today. I'm loving it. It's very complimentary on you.
Thank you very much.
So we're going to jump right into this interview. So we're going to say this. You know, if you've had an opportunity to listen or watch any of my videos, the Hustle Skirt hosts always have some question to kick the conversation off. But I'm going to leave it the responsibility to you to say as much as you want. Please tell us how to contact you. So when this interview is over, I want it to be lit up, all right? I want it to pop, all right? So let's start by any little things you want to say to me real quick before I ask you any question. We're going to play this. Let's play off each other. So this is my first joint interview. So give me a chance. If I ask the question, feel free. Any one of you just hop in or pass it to the other person. But by all means, let our listening audience hear from both of you. We're going to have fun. We're going to just keep it real. All righty. That works for you?
That works.
Okay. So tell us about your startup or existing business ideas. In other words, what motivates you, Donna and Kristin?
Well, what motivates me is a legacy business. From the beginning, my husband and I actually started the business in 1985. We bought about the only existing property and casualty business that was minority owned, completely minority owned. And we bought that from a man named Mr. Smith, Leroy Smith Insurance Agency. That's how we started. We started just he and I, and I'll tell you the truth, it was rough. One of the questions people often ask, you asked that too, when did you think you made it? I think I made it when the bank stopped calling every morning and say, Ms. Swanson, are you gonna make a deposit today? Can you make a deposit today? And that went on for quite a few years. My husband didn't want, he was part of he was part of many insurance companies, and he did not want to move. When we went into the insurance business, there were insurance companies in the city of New Orleans hiring people. I worked for Travelers. They were hiring and training people. Those companies have left. And as they were leaving, they either wanted you to go with them somewhere else or leave it completely to the majority people. It hasn't changed much. To be truthful to you, the insurance industry is basically white and is basically male, as is the legislature, because some of them are the same people. Attorneys, same people. And there's not much difference in the hustle, trying to make a living, and in the ways that they exclude minorities.
Oh, Donna, I am so happy. See, this program was designed for minority business owners like you to speak your truth. Because the wisdom and experience that you're sharing about this insurance industry, others who are either a startup business need to hear truth. And with that being said, Kristin, would you like to add anything to this question to tell us something about the existing business? In other words, what motivate you to be the legacy if you want to share the products and services of Swanson Insurance Agency? And let us,
Absolutely,
and please,
absolutely.
one of you, please share again your website and other means of contact information.
Sure. So absolutely. So what drives me every day is what my grandparents went through to be in this business. And then why they got into business in the first place was to serve their community. And we continue to do that today with our web of products, being whether that's auto insurance, homeowners insurance, health insurance. And what's really scary right now is the property market, and everyone's afraid of, because our market is in the dumpster right now because we've had so many hurricanes. So that's been really my driving force, is to be able to directly help our community, and whether that's via them visiting our website to request a quote, which is www.swansoninsAgency.com. Our clients call us all day too at 504-821-0303. So I think that's really my driving force right now, is just being able to still be there for the community in an environment where a lot of people don't understand what's going on, and we want to be there to continue to hold their hands.
Now, when I've called the business, pardon me just for a second, Donna, to call the business, area code 504-821-0303, extension 108. Will I get Kristin directly or
You will
Donna?
get me directly.
Okay. And would you mind sharing your email address, or you rather they just visit the website?
Oh, I would prefer email all day. And my email address is
yes, please share that.
Kristin at swansongroup.net.
Thank you for sharing that. And pardon me, Donna, you had a comment.
Well, I wanted to say that we don't want to leave out that her father, my son Greg, is actually our sales manager. And if you can't get him on regular hours, he works, so I don't know what time at night, early in the morning before, he always did get up early, gets up early before anybody, and he will call you back. It's just, we get slammed right now with what's happening to people. This is not new. This is not new. When I started into the business, it wasn't property, then it was liability for companies and workers' comp. It's always something, because basically, as I said, the people who run the insurance business in the state and in many states are actually big companies and big businesses. They, and they're only looking out for themselves. And so when something happens, like with the same old story that they're trying to pull now with the homeowners and whatever, people are going to lose their houses because they can't pay the insurance. And what a lot of people don't know is that mortgage companies are forced to put insurance on your house. If you don't pay, that you have a mortgage, you have to have insurance. So if that means that they put something on you that you can't pay your mortgage, you could lose your home. And
did I learn that through Hurricane Katrina,
Katrina, Ida.
I kept telling my attorney, I said, boy, if I can just save the money and do whatever repair. She said, Debra, you are a homeowner. There's no way any mortgage company will allow you to own a home without insurance. So they got to nail down. So they know you need that insurance. So Donna, we're going to squeeze these other two questions in, but the two of you have no idea how important with you sharing it and just speaking your truth about the insurance industry. So with your permission, do anyone want to mention how to reach Greg, or we want everything to go to you and Kristin with the contact information provided?
We'll give him my dad's email. It's Greg, Greg, at theswansongroup.net.
That's right. If I need to have another separate interview at a future date with Greg, we'll do that too. Because
Yes.
the information you just shared is so key. So we're going to go ahead and ask the two other questions, but we're going to move it forward. However, what you just share is a gem, because I'm hoping a lot of people take the time to listen to this interview. This is an awesome interview, ladies. So tell me about the first moment you stood up for yourself.
I think I'll take that one first, because since I'm young and still in my 20s in an aging white male industry, it requires me to stand up for myself a lot. So, and luckily I had a great example of that. So, about earlier this year, about February, March, I noticed that there was one particular company that wasn't contracting with minority agents the way that they needed to be. So I'm not saying I know every minority agent in the state of Louisiana, but I know quite a few. So I contacted my contacts at all of these other great independent agencies and asked them, hey, do y'all have a contract with this company? No, everyone, we were all denied. So we said, okay, something's going on here. So we got together collectively, and I even had to ask my grandma for advice, because she's been through this exact same scenario already, maybe in this
In the 80s,
20, 30
90s.
years ago, but we're doing the same thing. So we all got together collectively and we contacted our senators and representatives at the state level to say something's going on here. So they got with their counterparts in the insurance committees to say, to include a resolution into a bill that recently passed that gave all these insurance companies state money to continue to operate in the state. So they passed a resolution that gave the Louisiana Department of Insurance the authority to start monitoring what minority contracts these companies are giving and to who. So that recently just got passed, and that was a pretty big deal for me, because that was me really saying, okay, we've got to do something, and I can't stand by and watch this happen.
So you're telling me it passed in the House and Senate? The best I can say right now, Donna, right on. Now, that's coming from our baby boomer generation, but I am proud of you, Kristin. That's what I'm talking about. Stand up, speak up, and speak out. Donna, you want to comment? We may not get that last question in, but this is great.
I come from the uppity woman age, where they called us uppity women. The 60s and the 70s, her dad, my children used to carry signs. We used to picket. I used to attend so many meetings and work with so many groups, because see, I am always for, like your program, I'm for everybody to be treated fairly, everybody. I stand up for all kinds of people, not just because of color or because of your religion or any kind of, I want everyone to be treated fairly. And all we want to do is have an opportunity to show what we can do. We've been bypassed. We tried, there have been laws passed, which they've been able to get by and under and around, even with so-called set-asides. We know that those didn't work. They've been, when they had the women's set-asides, right? And then you had Bow Brothers and all the other ones that put their wives and their daughters in business, and they got the set-aside.
Come on with it.
So there's all,
we know, Donna.
Very awake and aware, and woke is not a bad word. So that's what I had to say about it. It hasn't changed, Debra.
Well, you're on point. I understand what you just shared with the audience, and I just hope a lot of people really watch this particular interview, because it's probably one of the most extraordinary opportunities I've been blessed with on Hustle Skirt, to keep it real. And that's the way I really want my guests to be authentic, speak your truth, but I do want you to always share your products and services and your specific industry. So folks, pick up the phone, text you, go to your website, and know how to reach you. So I'm gonna slip in this last question, and I'm gonna ask you to kind of give me a short response as we close out. At what point did you look at your business and consider it a success?
Well, I told Kristin that I said the point where the bank didn't have to call me every morning and say, Miss Swanson, are you going to make a deposit today? And that is the honest truth. You
See,
know,
that's keeping it real, because I've
you
had
work
that
7
same
days.
I have that same experience.
We started off working 7 days, and then we got down to 6 and maybe 5. And then when you could like kind of breathe a little bit and see, actually believe that there was some money in the bank, and you could have an aha moment, that probably was it. It was never about, it's never about prestige or being on boards, or, you know, you got to watch a lot of that, because that can turn your head. And you don't look at what's in the, remember, keep your eye on what's in the bank. As you say, it's the economy, because what you're taking in as money, as you're selling, as you're doing sales, that's not your profit.
That's right.
That's not your money.
That's
You
right.
you have to keep that in mind.
And so many times you hear folks say, "Oh, you know, my gross revenues was such and such. Oh, I did
Gross,
5 digits or 6 digits," and I'm saying, see, y'all, they're not keeping it real. See, they didn't tell you about those expenses when you get to that net.
No.
The reality, payroll, and all these other things you have to pay,
Keep
other
the lights
expenses.
on.
Yes.
And they don't tell you it might just be a 4 digit by the time you get to the bottom line.
Right, right. I'm grateful that, and then you got to worry about internal revenue and minority businesses.
Yes.
If they think that you're successful, they are coming. They are coming
Absolutely.
if they think you're successful. And I wanted to make one other point about the property market and your the real estate market and the mortgage companies. The federal government fines the mortgage company every day if they go to a mortgage company and they find that they have mortgages without insurance. They will fine them daily. So it's not just it's not like don't get, as my son would say, booted up over the mortgage company. It's not, you know, they're trying to stay in compliance too.
Now, I don't know about my listening audience, but you just gave me a little education and awareness, okay? Because I've been fussing. I said, boy, if I can set aside an emergency fund enough, and when something catastrophic, like I hope there's no cousin to Hurricane Katrina, I can do what I need to do. I'm tired of fussing with my agent about this homeowner insurance, but I know it's getting ready to be a dog day in Louisiana right now.
It really is. It's really worrisome.
I heard a national insurance company in the state of California, they're not covering folks, and that's hard. So I'm just hoping
Florida.
we need to stay prayed up. So we're gonna stop right here, and I want you both to know, I hope you had fun. It was an education for Debra. It's always my pleasure to host the Hustle Skirt, but this was a great interview because you was able to speak your truth and authenticity. So as I close out today, one more time, Kristin or Donna, share your contact information with our audience, just in case someone just plugging in at the very end of the interview.
Yes, absolutely. Our phone number is 504-821-0303. Our general email box where anyone can ask a general question is info@theswansongroup.net. My direct email is Kristin, Kristin, @theswansongroup.net. And again, our website is www.swansonisagency.com. And from our website, anyone can request a quote or request their own policy information for us to get back with them, because we're trying our best right now, because our phones are flooded because everyone's shopping their insurance because the renewals have been so bad.
That's what I've been hearing in the business community, as well as with homeowners just on my block. So with that being said, I want to extend that future invitation to Greg. I'm not against anything. I am for whatever your product and service is. So if there's a different way Greg would like to introduce the Swanson Insurance Agency, I have a lot of male entrepreneurs in my network. So right now, I had a list of close to 100 women, Black and brown females, and even a diverse group of women in my network with all the rainbow colors. So I want to get through some of those that I have invited, and then I want to reach out to the men that has been, like you all, a good information source, a support system, partnering, joint ventures, and whatever it takes to keep the lights on as a large or small business, because entrepreneurship is not easy. You gotta have heart in this type of business. I'm not against anybody that's in an employment opportunity, but when you take that giant leap in the world of contracting opportunity, it's a different day and time. It humbles you. You appreciate every client and contracting opportunity that helped you to survive since 1985, and for Debra Gould and Associate to survive 27 years in my professional speaking industry. And I can just imagine what it's like in your insurance industry. So with that being said, we're going to close out. Again, the Hustle Skirt podcast objective is to empower you to speak up, speak with power, just like you heard from Donna and Kristin Swanson. Embrace change in your own vision, mission, and purpose, and get fired up. Look, Donna didn't mix her words. She just put it out there. So I hope you had your ears wide open, okay? But they both spoke their passion and their truth. Make sure to visit the website www.persistentlane.com, where you can subscribe to the Hustle Skirt podcast. You will have multiple ways to experience this interview today with the Swanson Insurance Agency. 9 different platforms, just to name a few: iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon FM, just some of the ways. But you can go to my website and you'll see those different ways. My YouTube, as well as my website, persistentlane.com. And while you're at it, tell a friend, a neighbor, pick up the phone, follow up with the Swanson Insurance Agency today. Visit the webinar as well, to persistentlane.com. Please, if you like this particular interview today on my podcast, I would appreciate a rating on iTunes. You are listening to the Hustle Skirt podcast, the show that brings you economic equity for everyone, every day, with your host, Debra Gould. Donna, Kristin, I love you. This was a great interview. Hats off, and continue the journey for the next generation. So your granddaughter is your lasting legacy, but keep it going, y'all, for the great. All right? Until we meet again, thank you for this wonderful interview. Donna and Kristin Swanson, say hello to grandfather and give my best regard to Greg. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
You too. Bye.